Hey divers, what's going on? What are we doing today? We're going to be going over a little maintenance. We're going to be talking about how we need to clean and take care of this stuff. All right, stay tuned for more. What's your adventure? Hey divers, so what we're going to be talking about today, talking about some basic gear maintenance, especially when we're talking about our regulators. So, you know, every dive instructor should have told their students to always make sure before you do any rinse that you put your dust cap in place, because you don't want any water or any other debris getting in there. It's got a little screen in there. You want that to stay dry. You don't want it to corrode inside there. Another thing you want to do is a lot of regulators, they're kind of getting away from it these days, have these hose keepers. What this is just slides on and off, and it just keeps the hose from getting kinked. But you can't inspect underneath there if that protector's in place. Plus, if it stays wet, you get corrosion around this metal juncture into the first stage. Or like that one, it's getting grit and sand out of it. Again, that's not something you want to clean that stuff out. Most of the time, if I see people with those, I just tell them, just take it off. It's doing you more harm than good. Another thing you want to look for is stress points in the rubber. What you don't want to see is stuff like this. Is that good or bad, Deadpool? Yeah, that's bad. So this is on the high pressure line going to the pressure gauge. So that looks like it's getting ready to fail. Well, what would happen? Well, it would be quite dramatic. There'd be a lot of bubbles and your tank pressure would drop fast. It would be an emergency situation where you'd make a emergency swimming ascent with your buddy and with him or her ready to give you their octopus to help you on the way out. So other things you want to do, get all the grit out of it. See, this has still got some sand and stuff in it from the last dive. And how often do you want to get it serviced? Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change out this high pressure line myself. Screws in, screws out. There's no real secret to this. The pressure gauge is just held in here by tension in this rubber housing. Usually, if it's hot, you can just pull it out. It helps if you have a hairdryer, it warms up the rubber too. And then it's just got a simple connection. You gotta do that and change out that line. But what I'm not qualified to do, at least for the Sherwoods, is to start digging into the first stages and second stages, where you start replacing all the high pressure seats in the first stage, all the seals and everything like that in the second stages. That you're gonna wanna have a factory service tech actually dig into, because they have specific parts that go to that specific regulator. And then you're good to go for another year. Some regulators, I know Atomic, I think you don't have to do that except for every 2 years. But it also depends on your use. If you're only diving it once a year, versus once a day, once a month, once a week. So, but it's always a good rule of thumb, have it serviced once a year. Because you'd rather pay a little extra to have peace of mind, and so your regulator set won't fail on you. And if it does fail, it fails open. Remember, downstream valves, and so you just be breathing out the free flow. But you're just gonna have another dive. You're like, man, I didn't get to finish it all the way. All right, if you guys have any questions, ask me in the comments. Follow us on Instagram at Compressed Adventures. We're also on YouTube at Compressed Adventures. All right, what's your adventure?